Добрий день.
Welcome, everybody. Joining us today, I'm Olga Tamanova. At the Ukrinform Media Center, we are beginning our work today on the day 2039 of our fight. Let me begin by welcoming all Ukrainians with today's holidays. We are grateful to our men and women in uniform for their daily heroic works, not spending their lives in defending our freedom. We thank you, an eternal memory to those who have paid the ultimate price. Glory to our soldiers, glory to Ukraine. On a brief note, today's agenda includes at 1:30 we will be joined by Sergei Khlan, the deputy of the Kherson Oblast Council. He will brief us about the situation in the Kherson region. At 2 o'clock we'll be talking about a historical decision passed by the European Council, the permanent delegation at the European Council Parliamentary Assembly, followed by the briefing by Ivan Fedorev, the mayor of Melitopol. He'll be talking about the situation in his city. Now we have been joined by Andrii Vitrenko, the first Deputy Minister of Education, of Science and of Ukraine. Welcome, sir. Glory to Ukraine, everybody. Congratulations on today's holiday. Sir, how the education has changed since the massive rocket strikes against Ukraine. What's going on? Thank you for your question. Everybody is aware about the acts of the terror states and the conducting of the massive rocket attacks against Ukraine. Let me remind you that the targets of these attacks included the Ministry of Education, which seemingly they deem as a military object. We believe that the main target of their action was to frighten Ukrainians. They conducted those attacks at the time when the Ukrainian school children were on the way to the schools. We've been monitoring the results of that terror action. The ministry has come up with a number of recommendations with a view to provide safe conditions for educational process. Until Friday, we have suggested that all the educational process throughout Ukraine is conducted online, and this was made known by the minister. Currently, all the regions of Ukraine, after the 15 minutes time when the attacks were launched, we conducted a meeting with the civil and military administrations. They backed our decision. All the educational establishments are now working in the online format. The only thing I would like to mention here is that for the next week, the educational forum will be decided, whether it's online, offline, or a mixed one. What we have offered to the local authorities and to the schools' principals to pass their decision according to the specific situation. That is to say, during the second week of the educational process will be decided according to the decisions by the military and civil administrations backed by the teachers' community. For example, let me tell you that in the city of Sumy that was massively struck with all the damages delivered to the civil infrastructure. In that city, they have passed a decision to stop educational process at this point in time. We are not against this decision in view of the safety conditions, so they have initiated holidays or continuing the online format. What matters for us in the first place is the lives of our school children and our teachers. For the school principals in the oblasts that have not yet passed a decision about the immediate holidays, what will the plans will be for them? The holidays will be provided according to the specific decisions passed locally, and there will be a schedule of holidays according to the Ukrainian legislation as for the beginning or the cessation of the educational process. Due to the effective counter-advance of the Ukrainian military, there are new deoccupied territories. How are you going to resume the educational process in these territories? What is the ministry doing, and when the educational process will recommence? Indeed, the heroic Ukrainian armed forces are providing the Ukrainian school children an opportunity to study according to the Ukrainian curriculum, and the number of such schools is growing. As of today, the number of schools working is in excess of 1,700 schools are still in the territories occupied. This number is decreasing. Unfortunately, we know the way the occupying force treats the Ukrainian educational process. The schools are being ruined. The educational infrastructure in the temporarily occupied territories now liberated by heroic forces. The whole conditions are very bad. They are breaching the Geneva Conventions. So, given that, the educational process in those areas it's not possible to conduct the offline classes, but the Ukrainian teachers are also heroes, and they are doing what it takes to provide education in the online format. No Ukrainian kid will be left behind the educational process. Mr. Deputy Minister, you mentioned the children that are living in the temporarily occupied territories. Do you have information whether these children are able to join in the online format the educational process in line with the Ukrainian curriculum? Indeed, the situation in the temporarily occupied territories is very complex. When we conducted the meetings with the teachers community in the preparation for the educational process, and we are also talking to the local authorities. They show the photographs with us. I'm not trying to put people at risk at this point in time. We know that the occupying force is very anxious about the Ukrainian children being able to follow the Ukrainian curriculum. They are threatening parents. The majority of the children in the temporarily occupied territories are able to join the online Ukrainian education, and this is warranted by the teachers who are now living in the safe conditions in other parts of the Ukraine. On my part, I will mention that we are in constant contact with the local directorates, and we are taking all the steps necessary to provide the salaries and all the money that the teachers are entitled to. As for the children who have left with their parents to other European countries, do you know the number of children who are now joining the Ukrainian curriculum? Do you have problems in that area? As of today, according to the updated information, the number of children staying abroad is about 505,000 children. These children are joining either Ukrainian schools or attend the schools where they are temporarily housed. Some countries, as Poland, for example, have made some concessions to us not to overload the children with the curriculum demands. So the children are now working in parallel. They are being part of the parallel programs, European programs in the country where they are staying, and the online Ukrainian curriculum here in Ukraine. There are also the so-called Saturday schools where children attend Ukrainian language, history, and culture classes. Let me assure you that there will be no problems with enrolling their credits in the schools where they are now being taught. We will harmonize this process. We have a mechanism that is now working. The ministry is now working on the algorithm, how to cooperate with our foreign colleagues to make sure that the Ukrainian children are not overloaded with the educational demands, as they are now attending two parallel processes. This mechanism will be worked out, and this will apply to the Ukrainians staying abroad. This will make sure that children are acquiring their knowledge for the future to be taken advantage of. We have questions in the audience. Urina Udornenko from the Ukraine Forum. You mentioned children staying in the temporarily occupied territories. How about the teachers who are still staying in those areas? Do they follow the Ukrainian curriculum? Are they being paid? This is an extremely painful issue for the Ministry of Education. We believe that the teachers who are not collaborators should be paid according to the Ukrainian legislation. They are on our pay list. However, the Ministry of Education is transferring the money in a timely manner for the payment of the children. I am also aware of the situation that some communities are experiencing problems because physically it is not possible to pay them salaries. However, with the close cooperation with the local civil and military authorities, the number of such problems is being decreased. Now, as for the payment for these teachers, I mean here the Ukrainian teachers that are following the Ukrainian curriculum are not collaborators. There are no problems with this. Thank you, sir. Dear friends, we have been talking to Andrii Vitrenko, First Deputy Minister of Education and Science of Ukraine. The next brief will take place at 1:30. We'll be talking about the situation in the Kherson province. Stay tuned.